The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to the House of Cards on Facebook, YouTube, and BigPatriotRadio.com. All licenses for music and content have been purchased by and are for the express use of the Big Patriot Radio networks. All information, opinions, and topics are for entertainment purposes and do not expressly represent the opinion of the show's host and or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Let's go! The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in and welcome. It is Thursday night, February. What is today? Oh, it's March 5th. Gosh, I'm still in February. It's amazing how fast this month has gone. So good to see you. This is BigPatriotRadio.com in the great state of South Carolina and Beaufort County's House of Cards. Thursday night show for you. Man, do we have a great show tonight. And remember, we want to hear from you. Get in your chat room, wherever you're watching, and that could be Facebook, YouTube, or whatever, and you want to talk to us, you want to talk about what's going on, you want to talk about something else, hey, let us know. We wish everyone a warm welcome. Glad to bring you in here on the show. If this is your first time, welcome. And if it's your second through third year with us, welcome back. We're glad to have you. Be sure, if you're on Facebook and YouTube, to like, follow, subscribe, and most of all, share the page. Go ahead, share it now. However, you click the little forward, share arrow going that way or that way, whatever. That really helps the show out, gives us credibility in all those algorithms on YouTube and Meta and Google and whatever else. So if you're listening in on BigPatriotRadio.com from all over the world, we're so glad to have you too. A big thank you. Hey, tonight's QR code, you see it right up here. That is the QR code for buymeacoffee.com. Please go ahead, click it now while I'm jabbering. And hey, buy us a coffee. By the end of the show, we're so parched. Love to have your support and buy us a coffee. It's buyusacoffee.com/ Big Patriot Radio, whatever. Just click it and you go right there while we're still talking. We really appreciate those folks at buymeacoffee.com. And to those of you who jumped on that last week, we so appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support here on Beaufort County's House of Cards.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
I've been telling you all over the last couple of months about the murder mystery dinner that FreshStartHealingHeart.org was going to have, and they had it. Wow. This was last week. Unbelievable. It was incredible. Saturday evening, 28th February. What an awesome event. The food was fantastic. Some damn good chicken. And what else did they have? They had green beans. There was barbecue, pecan pie, and some scalloped potatoes. I don't remember. It was just so good. I just ate. The food was awesome. The people were fantastic. And hey, we all had a really good time out there. Everyone that was there got a part to play. It was a murder mystery dinner. So you didn't just sit there and look at the four walls or bid on silent auction stuff. You got to be a part of it. It was either Walt Calloway or Kyle or Calloway or Wally or I don't know, something like that. Calloway. I was the Calloway that I was the oil and cattle baron of the Calloway Ranch. I believe this was in Texas. I ended up being the one that got murdered, which was absolutely incredible. That whole storyline that played out. The search for whodunit, obviously it's murder mystery. The search for whodunit was absolutely, it was the funniest thing I've seen in a while. And in the end, it was my trusty bookkeeper. That's right. My trusty bookkeeper. Can't remember her name now. Nell Price. I think that was it. I think. She decided that the heat was getting too much for her. She was skimming off the top of the books of the Callaway Ranch. So anyway, thanks again to everyone who came out, who supported this event. Folks at Fresh Start Healing Heart, this is their big, one time a year fundraiser. They are a fantastic group. They have 2 thrift stores, I believe, Hampton and in Ridgeland. Go by and check them out. Check them out online, freshstarthealingheart.org. If you want to be involved in something, whether it's the face of the thing or behind the scenes of the thing, whatever you do, whatever your thing is, they could use your help. All proceeds go to Fresh Start Healing Heart, and their mission is to not only, take care of those who have been a victim of trafficking, whether that's child trafficking, sex trafficking, adult trafficking, whatever kind of trafficking. They are there to help those folks, and they want to prevent it, and they want to educate those about it that need to know about trafficking and all over, no matter where you are. Obviously, they're right here in South Carolina, and it is a bad problem. It is a very bad problem. I don't care what some local law enforcement may say. We have a problem in Beaufort and Jasper County with trafficking, and these folks are helping, and we love them and are glad to be a part of what they do.
Locked and loaded. Let's go. Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
Now, we have a huge announcement. Didn't make much of this during the lead up for the show, as we, you saw the title and the little graphic, which is so cool. BigPatriotRadio.com has a huge announcement. We started playing this song this week. Not too much fanfare, just a little bit, just to see. And some people heard it. Some people got the bug. Tonight we are going to debut a brand new song by Jimmy Red. Let's go ahead and let's put this up here. The cover. Jimmy Red. The track is titled Low Country Lines. Now, we are live on BigPatriotRadio.com. Let me switch a few buttons here. We are live on BigPatriotRadio.com. And right before we click this button, this is going to debut here at about the 9:10 hour. So we're taping what you're going to hear. This song, we're going to insert it in between the show. It's the mark of magic behind the computer screen. So anyway, 2 seconds. All right, we're live here on BigPatriotRadio.com. Big announcement. Guess what's coming up now? We've got Jimmy Red right here on BigPatriotRadio.com debuting his song, Low Country Lines. Big Patriot Radio.
Low Country Lines.
Sunset bleeding over Folly Beach. Shrimp boats rocking just out of reach. Marsh grass swaying like it knows my name. Same old river, but it ain't the same. Spanish moss in a live oak tree. She's barefoot dancing right next to me. Got a Dixie cup full of Tennessee gold and a story that her daddy told. We ain't in no hurry. Baby, let it roll like the tide coming in on a Carolina soul. We're living on low country lines, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls, that's my like a summer night under those Johnson lights. From the backwoods deer stand on to a dock where the redfish run. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little love and Saturday night. Found middle moon in a shotgun sky. Duck blind waiting as the birds fly by. Camouflage and a thermos cup. Cold morning air gonna wake you up. Downtown King Street neon glow. She laughing loud at a country show. Got sand on boots from Sullivan Shore. Says she ain't leaving, wants a little more. Every mile marker down Highway 17 feels like a memory wrapped in gasoline. We're living on low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that shine like a harvest moon, singing every word out of tune. From the pine woods to the ocean side, we run these roads like a rising tide. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little faith and a Friday night. Cypress knees and Carolina rain, football lights and a freight train. From Columbia down to Milford town, you can feel that heartbeat in the ground. Raise it up for the old homestay, for the ones we love and the ones we wait for. Every backward memory made in the life where the good Lord stay. We're living on low country lines, whiskey burning, sweet tea wine. Girls that love like a hurricane, but kiss you soft like summer rain. From the deer wheels to the attic blue, there ain't no place like me and you. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just South Carolina and a Saturday night.
That is Jimmy Red with Low Country Lines, debut tonight right here on BigPatriotRadio.com. More coming up. We've got Bad Company and Richmond, north of Richmond. BigPatriotRadio.com.
Your rock authority. Big Patriot Radio.
I wouldn't tell anybody about this.
And there we go. How was that? That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. That is going to be a hit. Low Country Lines, Jimmy Red, debut right here on Big Patriot Radio. I want to hear from you. What did you think? How quick do you want a copy of this? I'm not positive, but I am positive, but I'm not positive. I don't think the song's been released yet for purchase, but as soon as it is, obviously we're going to let you know. How do you get your copy? Where do you go get it? Do you download it? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're going to let you know. That is Jimmy Red, Low Country Lines right here on BigPatriotRadio.com. More coming up here in just a moment. Let's see what we've got going on here. All right. So something locally had happened, and it's pretty important to talk about it. This is what, the lead up to the show was and all that. But before I get into the gory details, I want to set the stage. Okay. I want to set the stage, for this whole thing. So please, take notes, whatever you have to do, let your neighbor know this is something you want to share. All right. Dive into this with me. All right. I want to spend, it doesn't always make the headlines. When you talk about politics, we hear about it from so many avenues, so much. Sometimes it doesn't make the headlines, the stuff that really matters. So, and this is something that really matters. We often hear about elections, candidates, policies, campaign strategies. Those things matter, of course. But there's another side of political life that often stays behind the curtain. That is the internal culture of political parties. Okay, the internal culture, how they treat their own members, how leadership behaves, and what happens when that leadership becomes toxic. Simple toxicity. Political parties are, at their core, they're just volunteer organizations. That is all a political party is. People choose to participate. They give of their time, they give of their effort, sometimes their money, and often a great deal of emotional investment because they believe in a cause bigger than themselves. People join political parties because they believe they can help shape the future. 99.9% of the time, that's the reason why you join a political party or you get involved. People want their voices to matter. They want to contribute to ideas and solutions. And, ideally, they expect to be part of a community that shares common goals, even if, listen to this, even if members disagree on the details. It's okay to disagree. It's healthy to disagree. That's what you want. But sometimes, over time, something begins to change within those, and this is all walks of life, those organizations. Leadership that once guided and represented the party can begin to consolidate power in some very, very unhealthy ways. They focus shifts away from serving the membership and toward protecting the authority of a small group at the very top. Instead of leadership being accountable to members, members begin to feel that they're accountable to the leadership. That's messed up. We see that on town councils, county councils, state assemblies, the federal House of Representatives and Senate. We see that. And that, folks, is where the toxicity starts to grow. It usually doesn't happen overnight. In fact, it often happens gradually and almost happens quietly. At first, small criticisms get dismissed. Questions from members may be brushed aside. Leadership meetings become less and less transparent. Decisions that once involved consultation suddenly happen behind closed doors. Sound familiar for a plethora of bodies? Over time, the tone changes. Instead of an open discussion, you begin to see loyalty tests. Instead of disagreement being welcomed as part of a healthy debate, it becomes labeled as troublemaking or dissenters, troublemakers. Oh, I knew. We all seen that. Members who ask hard questions might be ignored. They might be sidelined or even pushed out of positions they once contributed to. And slowly the culture shifts from one of the terms collaboration to one of control. The movement of collaboration to control. The power shift to the top. Now, it's important to understand that this phenomenon isn't limited to any one ideology or political philosophy. No one is immune to this. Whether a party is conservative, liberal, progressive, libertarian, or anything else, the temptation of power exists everywhere. Any organization, political, corporate, social, can fall into this trap when leaders begin to believe their authority should not be questioned. When you as a leader believe your authority outpaces the membership, we have a problem, Houston. And when this happens inside political parties, the consequences are particularly damaging. The first major effect is member retention. Political parties rely heavily on people who volunteer their time and their energy, as we said. These are the individuals who knock on doors. They organize local meetings. They distribute information and build relationships in their communities. Tons of you that are watching right now are those very people. But people will only stay in organization as long as they feel respected and valued. You disrespect me or you don't value me, I'm out. When members start to feel like, hey, my voice doesn't matter, or when they feel that decisions have been predetermined by leadership, or when they feel like they're being punished for expressing honest disagreement, motivation begins to fade. At first, people, they may try to work within the system. Okay, I know the rules of the game. Let me see what we can do to make this work. They may raise concerns. They may try to attempt to fix things. But if leadership consistently shuts down these efforts, frustration builds. That's what you're left with. Eventually, some members simply just step away. And the departure of members isn't always dramatic. Often it's quiet. Someone stops attending meetings. Another volunteer stops organizing events. A longtime supporter decides not to renew. It just slides away into the abyss. Individually, these moments may seem quite small, but collectively, collectively, they begin to hollow out the organization from the inside or from within. Experienced members, those who've been around the block once or twice, people who understand the party's values and have built trust in their communities, are often the first to leave because they recognize when the culture has shifted. You have those that say, I'm not being a part of that because that's not what we're about and I'm out. Or you say, I feel more inspired to do the right thing. And when these people leave, they take with them something extremely valuable: institutional knowledge, credibility, and they take relationships with them. But the problem doesn't stop there. Toxic leadership affects a party's ability to attract new members. In today's world, and again, let your neighbors know they need to tune in on this. In today's world, because we're going to tell you about something that happened here locally. In today's world, internal dynamics rarely stay hidden. Social media, online forums, public discussions often reveal how organizations operate internally. People who are considering joining a political party pay attention to these signals. They look at how leaders treat critics. They observe whether debate is welcomed or is it punished. They notice whether the party appears open and dynamic or is it rigid and controlled. If the impression these folks get is that dissent is unwelcome and decisions are tightly controlled by a very small group in the leadership circle, many potential members will simply choose not to join. And that's especially true of younger generations. They feel we don't have to put up with this. We don't have to be a part of that. And at the same time, those that are squeezing that leadership role, that are squeezing the control, they think they're gaining. The membership is growing. We're doing much better because we're squeezing the pimple. Many young voters value authenticity, transparency, and participation. They're often less interested in blindly following authority just to follow authority, and they're more interested in contributing ideas. Today's youth is not stupid. When they encounter a political party that feels hierarchical, say that a few times, or dismissive or authoritarian internally, the message they receive is clear. Your voice is not going to matter here, young man or young lady. And when that perception spreads, recruitment becomes much harder. Another major consequence of toxic leadership is the creation of an echo chamber. When leaders surround themselves only with people who agree with them, they begin to lose touch with the broader membership and often with the broader public as well. That echo chamber becomes yes men and yes women. Constructive criticism disappears. Honest feedback, that becomes rare. Decisions are made on assumptions rather than reality. Without diverse perspectives, even intelligent leaders can begin to make poor decisions. Now, policies may become disconnected from the concerns of ordinary citizens. John Q. Public not knowing really what the rules of the political game are. It's too far from them. They don't feel it. Messaging may fail to resonate with voters. Strategies that were built upon may be built now on flawed information. And because dissent has been discouraged, fewer people feel comfortable speaking up when problems arise. That's a big one. Ironically, the same control that leaders use to maintain authority often winds up weakening the organization's effectiveness. That's what I was just saying about squeezing that pimple. They think they're doing it, but they're really squeezing the life out of it. History shows us many examples of organizations, political and otherwise, that become stagnant because internal debate was suppressed. You all know this. Innovation slowed, adaptability disappeared. Eventually, the organization struggled to remain relevant in a changing world. Healthy political parties, by contrast, operate very differently. They recognize that disagreement among members is not a threat, it's a strength. How many times have we said that if we all agree on every single topic, every single part of time, how flippin' boring are we going to be? Why have the discussion? Internal debate allows ideas to be tested, refined, and improved. It helps leaders stay connected to their concerns of the membership. It encourages both creativity and adaptability. Strong leaders understand that respectful challenge is part of a healthy system. If you're a leader in a corporate world or a political world, in a social world, input your world, and you don't allow or stand for respectful challenge, you are leading an unhealthy and soon to be dead organization. I guarantee that. They don't see disagreement as betrayal. They see it as engagement. In fact, most resilient political movements in history have often been those that allowed room for internal discussion and evolution. They understand that a party is not simply a hierarchy with orders flowing downward. No, that's not how this works. It's not from the top down. It's a community. It's shared, a community shared by being built on shared purpose, but enriched by diverse perspectives. Leadership in that sense is not about controlling members. It's about bonus points, serving them. It's not about controlling the members. You should be serving the members. It's about guiding the organization while remaining accountable to the people who make it possible. When leadership operates with transparency, with humility, and openness, members feel invested in the party's future. They feel ownership over its direction. They become more involved. They become healthier because they're creating a healthy organization. They become ambassadors for its ideas within their very own communities. But when leadership becomes toxic, when authority replaces dialogue, when loyalty replaces integrity, and when control replaces trust, the opposite occurs. Members drift away. Potential supporters, they're going to start looking elsewhere. And the organization slowly loses that energy that once sustained it. At the end of the day, political parties are not just vehicles for candidates or elections. They are living organizations that breathe and feed, and they're built on human relationships. Truth, respect, accountability are what keep those relationships strong. Please remember all of this as we go forward and we learn about what just happened. When leadership remembers that, parties grow stronger, more dynamic, and more capable of serving the public. But when leadership forgets it, toxicity spreads. Long-term consequences can be very difficult, if at all possible, to reverse. So the lesson is simple but important. A political party's strength does not come from how tightly leadership can control it. It comes from how many people feel welcome to participate in it. political parties say this very thing. We've got to attract more voters. We've got to attract more members. We've got to attract the youth. Then don't treat it so strictly, because people won't feel welcome to participate. All right, why do I bring all this up? Well, this week, the Beaufort County GOP Executive Committee, I think they're called, or whatever they call themselves now. It's the leadership and ECs. At the head, the lead of this, from Chairman Kevin Henley and State Executive Committee woman Jodan Lee, they have successfully. let me find something here. Oh, this thing stopped. Damn. They have successfully kicked out, or put the wheels in motion to kick out another member, unless, of course, they come forward and they grovel at the feet of the master, lick the soles, and swear they'll never do it again. And, of course, it'll in writing and beg for mercy. Many listeners of this show and many viewers of this show know a gentleman by the name of Mike Tunner of Hilton Head Island. He and his wife, Melinda, are two of the nicest folks around. I want you to read a detailed layout of what has led to Mike Tunner effectively being kicked out of the county GOP, unless, of course, he goes and, swears he'll never do it again, licks the heels of the leadership, kisses the ring, and tells them what a terrible person he has been, and he swears not to do it. Anyway, let's take a look at his letter. And this is from Mike Tunner. He said, hello, the BCRP completed their mission of internet didn't like what I had to say. Interesting. Anyhow, again, we want to hear from you. All right. He was saying, this is Mike Tunner. BCRP completed their mission of placing me on notice of immediate suspension. The vote was allegedly 72 for him being on suspension and 11 against, with 20 not voting. 72 yes, 11 no, and 20 not voting. Interesting. With only 30 people on the Zoom call, I don't see how this even constitute a quorum, per Mike Tunner. Also, and I agree, no explanation was put on the record that I heard of how they had 83 total votes with only 30 on the Zoom call. Excuse me. They accused me of with no opportunity to tell my side of the story. He didn't get any due process. What misleading information did I disseminate? No such evidence was offered because it's untrue. One speaker on the Zoom stated that I being Mike Tunner, that I had called Kevin Henley a crook and that he stole money. That is untrue as well. They said they were unable to attend venues because of the ruckus I, Mike Tunner, have created. Again, this is a complete fabrication. They are projecting someone else's action onto me and defaming me in the process. Yeah, we know all that happened. And yes, that was not Mike, but let's keep going. According to Tunner, it's important to note that the resolution was completed, signed, and dated 2 days prior to the vote. They took the vote on the Zoom call 72 Unbelievable. I don't know what is wrong with the internet, but this is unbelievable. Can't stand. That's one of my pet peeves is when the internet goes down. I mean, in 2026, we should not be having this problem. Let me, we do have some comments. Let's go into them. Debbie's checking in. Is anyone else having connection problems to this podcast? Yep. Nancy, truth is truth, but politics give you the right to lie. I know. I'm with you. Lee Grenade checking in. Debbie, yes, unfortunately so. She's having problems. Helga checking in. Yep, YouTube is cutting out, so there is another problem out there. Video's down. You must be pissing off some people, Dave says. Must be. If you're back in here, if you're back on the show, let me know. Just send me a message that on your, on your chat room there, and let me know that you are you're watching. Let's see what's going on with the camera. What is going on? Let's do. Bear with me a second. We don't want to mirror it. No, that's not. I don't want to do that. All right, Helga's back. Okay, Skip, you're there. Hey, Bo. We'll give it a little bit of time for other people to come back. You want to talk about pissing me off? This right here, the audio, video stuff just torques my ass. Anyway, let's keep going. Reading this letter from Mike Tunner explaining what he did. Okay. Everybody says they're back. All right. So it's important to note that the resolution, this is the resolution he's talking about from the Beaufort County Republican Party. Again, it was signed and dated 2 days prior to the vote. Well, that's not very transparent. If you went ahead and signed it and dated it before the vote was taken, oh, but wait a minute. By the time the video or the Zoom call came, there was only 30 people on it-ish. There were 72 yay, yes, 11 no, and 20 I'm not voting. 30 were there, but it was signed and dated 2 days ago. Folks, I don't need, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. You called me out. No, this is bullshit. This is bull. Anyway, they stated that I, Mike Tunner, broke rules which I have no access to. The rules are not posted on the BCRP website. Furthermore, the EC voters did not have the opportunity to see any evidence. Again, where's the due process in that? Furthermore, 72 people convicted me without hearing my side of the story or seeing any evidence. They simply went along with the resolution as written. I was never given an opportunity to defend myself against these false allegations. I was duly elected by my precinct, yet the BCRP leadership is trying to remove me. How is this even legal? How is this right? In our Republican creed, we can profess that we are free Americans, but there is nothing American about the way the BCRP is being run. This is all, again, from Mike Tunner. It operates more like a Politburo than the party of Reagan and Trump. For the short time that I was allowed in the meeting, several people inquired as to what I did and voiced concerns about voting without information. The BCRP still did not provide evidence, only accusations. Attendees also asked why I was not allowed to tell my side of the story. And the communists don't allow that. BCRP continued to argue that I was guilty of what they claimed, but again, no due process. When the opportunity arose, I clicked on the microphone and I somehow was disconnected. I immediately logged back on, but was put on a waiting area or in to be connected by the meeting organizer, but that never happened, never connected. So I logged in onto my spouse's laptop as she uses Zoom all the time, but again was placed on hold and not allowed to log in. Anyway, when it came time for Kevin to ask who would present the motion to remove me, Linda Cannon, executive committee woman, just a lovely soul, immediately said yes. At the end of the meeting, Zhou Dan Lee, state committee woman, commented that and I don't know if I said this already or not. This is what I found to be unbelievable. She commented that she couldn't believe there was 11 people who actually voted against their resolution to remove Tunner. Several people reached out to me, Mike Tunner, to share their disappointment in being admonished regarding their votes. Remember what we just talked about in my opening? They got admonished. How dare you? The hubris is beyond remarkable. Culture starts at the top. And now this was written by Tunner long before he and I talked, and I never share my intro with anybody. Culture starts at the top. Now, it's easy to understand why Kevin Henley told a prominent candidate, quote, "The truth does not matter. It's just politics," end quote. Once again, the truth didn't matter to Mr. Henley in his handling of me. It's apparent that this elitist arrogance runs rampant in the BCRP. To be reinstated, the following recourse is to be completed by 5 o'clock p.m. on March 24th. This is from the BCRP in Mike Tunner's letter. He must do 4 things: written attestation, cessation of unauthorized collaboration. For fuck's sakes. Formal apology and public acknowledgement. And they may get upset because I said he had to lick the soles and kiss the ring. What the hell is the difference? I have the balls to say it. The BCRP has defamed my reputation in public. This is back to Tunner's letter. Fabricated lies and misled a group of my peers. They have effectively voted to limit my right to free speech and to diminish my right to opine. I was never informed that my emails were against the rules, so I will not agree to their demands. If they were so egregious, why did they wait 2 years? Apparently, this has happened over 2 years. I was duly elected by my precinct voters, and I plan to continue my duties until they can prove to me that they have followed the rules and regulations of the SCGOP, which is another conversation. I'm innocent until proven guilty. I intend to continue my duties unless it be proven that all SCGOP rules and regs are followed and due process was provided. Please be advised that if the BCRP cannot provide evidence for those defamatory claims and demonstrate a fair process, I will be forced to seek legal counsel. Signed, Mike Tunner. Now, that was signed Mike Tunner. Now, Mr. Tunner received 2 letters from constituents that I thought were very interesting, and we have permission from Mr. Tunner to share these. Let's see. These letters were from constituents who had received or had reached out, rather, to Kevin Henley and the leadership of BCRP. So I've put those on the screen. Let's make sure we can all see these. I've put them on the screen. Yeah, YouTube is having problems. Anyway, Kevin, I hope this finds you well. This is from Jerry Mothershead of Hilton Head. You can read this just on your screen. He said, I, and I presume many others, received this email from Mike Tunner, which is what I just read you. Not going to share the emails, the contents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mother's Head says he's very disturbed by all of this. There were a number of issues that raised questions and concerns, of which I will only list a few. Okay, of which I will only list a few. Let's go back here. First and foremost, this letter was written before the formal vote was taken. That in and of itself makes the process questionable. The Mike's violations stretch back over a year. Was he informed informally or better in writing of his violations or transgressions at the time? Were these adjudicated at the time? Was he given a warning of consequences? The comments claim that he has an alliance working against the interests of the BCRP. Xiaodan Li has an alliance, as you know, called the Friends of Liberty. Is it the problem that Mike has an alliance, or that alliance is working against the interests of the BCRP? If it's the latter, what specific interests? I ask because I have attended a number of his events, and I personally saw nothing to indicate that he was trying to undermine the Republican Party in any fashion. I have other issues with documents, yada, 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 yada. That is Mr. Mothershead's letter. He also, Kevin Henley was sent one from a Peter Haggerty. It says same thing. He's expressing his disappointment. He's known Mr. Tunner for 5 years. Everybody has interpretations, yada, yada, yada. Says that he was present at the precinct reorg back in February or March, whatever it was, of 2025. And he says, I attribute the raucous behavior to the lack of your leadership and your cohorts at that meeting, meaning Kevin Henley and Xiaodan Li. It was clear that the leadership team was pushing for the election of a select slate of individuals when that should not be the role of the leadership team. And for those of you who are at the county reorg, you saw a slate of officers being presented by the party at the event. How flippin' fair is that? We live in a democracy, he says, and everyone is entitled to have their own opinions. He believes they should not be influenced by any member of the BCRP to purposeful exclusion of others, et cetera, et cetera. You can see all those there, and if you want one, I'll be glad to get that to you, as I'm sure Mike would as well. Again, I want to hear from you on this. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Let's take a look at a few things that are important here. And I see some of the BCRP people are watching. So glad to have you on here. I hope this makes a difference. Sincerely, I hope this does. The most infamous removal, obviously, is Skip Hoagland. Aside from that, now it appears there's Mike Tunner. Has Tunner done anything wrong? Or is he a victim of Leninism and Stalinism, Gestapo tactics of Henley and Xiaodan Li? Again, at the county convention, I was in attendance, sat by myself, very quietly. I didn't, other than people saw me, because there was several hundred, it seemed like there. I give a hug, shake a hand. I was just there to observe. I saw both of them, as well as the parliamentarian, Father Time, who is reportedly running for county or town council, which is a total joke. I saw them, I heard them, and also the young lady who was the MC or whatever for the chaired the event. I think she was from Hampton County. Spoke horribly. They spoke disrespectfully. They were somewhat vile to people like Helga Crandall, Lauren Martell, Megan Fitzpatrick, Mike Tunner, and others. Why? That's not necessary. Is it because they have some, again, different opinions on things? Is it because they dare to ask questions? Is it because maybe they have differing views on several topics, but the same overall general Republican conservatism mantra, which, by the way, again, I'm going to repeat it, is very healthy, unless, of course, you are a communist. Then that wouldn't be very healthy. Let's even. Here is something, and I really, truly would love to hear from someone in leadership that can support this, that has the balls to step out of line, because I'm sure Kevin or Xiaodan or somebody, maybe her husband, the county elections chair, which is another weirdo thing to be able to do that. Anyway, told you not to. Let's take a look at the South Carolina Republican Creed. Now, what is that? Well, the Republican Creed is something that is said like before every meeting. Let's make sure it came up. Yeah, it came up. It comes up. They say it before every meeting. And here, you're going to be surprised to hear this. This is like if you're, this is what you have to say if you're a Republican in South Carolina. I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon. If I can seek opportunity, not security, I want to take the calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for dole. I prefer the challenges of life to guaranteed security, the thrill of fulfillment to the state calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefit of my creations, to face the whole world boldly and say, I am a free American. That is the Republican creed, okay? That's said before every meeting. Now wait just a damn minute. Wait just a damn minute. From the very dang beginning, quote, I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon, end quote. Well, that's right, Nancy. Good to hear from you. Nancy said 100% communists do not allow free speech. If anyone knew or knows about that, she's one of them, having come from originally from Venezuela. Beautiful, beautiful Venezuela. Now free Venezuela. Well, anyway, to Henley and Jodan Lee, I ask this. Seriously, I ask this. Do you not believe that first sentence? If you do, in fact, believe that, then you are not living it. Case in point is what Jodan Lee said on this Zoom call, where, again, I just told you, Tunner was to be reprimanded. She is recorded saying, actually somewhat, some people could call this yelling, quote, I cannot believe there are 11 people who did not vote for this to go through. What kind of candy-ass, self-righteous, Lenin-loving person would say such a thing at a Republican event? We just read the Republican creed. Why would you say that? I can't believe 11 people voted for it not to go through. Let's keep reading. I will not trade freedom for beneficence. Freedom or autonomy is the right to self-determination and independent decision-making, while beneficence is the moral obligation to act for the benefit of others and promote their well-being. Henley and Jodan Lee are exactly promoting the opposite. Quote, to think and act for myself, end quote. Well, not according to the actions of the chair for his handling of this. You're not allowed to act and think for yourself. Don't tell me that what me saying that is argumentative. It's you said that. Now, to be fair and honest, I reached out to Kevin Henley and the BCRP and offered them the same amount of time and space on this show, and I asked them for a reply to the comments from Tunner. Well, lo and behold, I got a reply. I got a reply. And I do want to share it. I think this is it. Yes, this is it. I did hear back from him. There is Mr. Henley's letter. And let's take a look. Dear Mike Cover, this was at 2:44 p.m. this afternoon. The goal of BCRP leadership in the county executive committee remains that we were elected to. That doesn't make sense. The county executive committee remains what we were elected to do. Okay, enforce the BCRP bylaws, grow the Republican Party membership, and win for our Republican nominees. We cannot accomplish these goals if we're constantly fighting fires set from within our own house. Okay. As we enter this election cycle, BCRP laser focused on increasing voter turnout. Here's the sales pitch from 20% to 20%, 12% to 20%. We have a republic to save and we can't afford the luxury of internal sabotage. Okay, agreed. Before the unanimous approval by the BCRP Resolutions Committee to impose disciplinary action against Mike Turner, our leadership team consulted with legal counsel to ensure that administrative procedures remain fully consistent with governing documents. Should Mr. Turner choose to ignore this clear path forward for compliance, that will be a decision made solely by him. Total deflection. Total deflection. The BCRP intends to avail itself of all available remedies, not only against those who make such false statements, but also against those who you get it. All options are being perpetuate them. All options are being considered, including but not limited to legal action. Sincerely, Kevin Henley, chairman of the BCRP. And again, if you want a copy of that, I'll be glad to get that to you. So let's just talk about that for a bit. I agree, Kevin, 110%. We cannot win if, quote, we are constantly fighting fires set from within our own house, end quote. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Maybe, just maybe, you need to think about those own words that you're saying. And like cancer, cut out and remove some things inside your house that are flaring this. Excellent point. Think about it. Go back to my opening. You heard me. It's well documented. Replay it. Listen to my lovely voice again. I talked about this. Internal sabotage. Interesting choice of words, Kevin. Why? Because communist, Leninist, Stalinist ideology have said for decades, and even actually over a century now, that they have long aimed at destroying and undermining the U.S. from within rather than through direct military. Strategies focus on destroying America by eroding core foundations. Excuse me. Core foundations like fostering internal division, infiltrating key institutions, that'd be education, media, political, dismantling the family unit, promoting atheism, and replacing capitalism with socialism and communism. Remember the late Nikita Khrushchev and what he said. He said, quote, "We will take America without firing a single shot. We will bury you." Sounds rather prophetic, if you ask me. I mean, think about that, bro. You're buying in, you're feeding in to the Nikita Khrushchev prophecy. You are possibly, are you indulging that? I don't know. It's a question. Oh, anyway, Mr. Henley stated in his reply that he and his leadership team, and I'm assuming that is Jodan Lee and Matthew Sweeney, which is her husband, and the chair of the county election commission, which again, that's a whole other story, that apparently they consulted legal counsel to, quote, assure or assure that their administrative policies remain fully consistent with governing documents. Well, I guess that's probably a pretty good thing and a good idea that you did that, because I fully expect, I haven't been told this, but I would certainly expect a full lawsuit come out from Mr. Turner, possibly. But again, I'm only guessing. I don't know that. I'm not saying that I don't know that. I don't know that, but I would expect it. The interesting thing is at the very end of Henley's response, he has been adding this to almost everything lately he says, at least in writing. BCRP intends to avail itself of all remedies, not only those against those that make such false statements, but also against those who perpetuate them. All options are being considered, including but not limited to legal action. It's like at the end of the, your can of shaving cream. Do not light this in the presence of fire. Do not spray this in the presence of fire. That alone should tell you everything you need to hear. That last sentence. I don't believe the leadership of the BCRP is ignorant whatsoever. They're not ignorant people at all. Never said they were. I believe they have gotten so caught up in their own greed and struggle for power against anyone who disagrees with them, because that's the steps that are taken. And I said this an hour ago when I started. By their own words, they have lost the way. Take a check what we got out here. Debbie in the chat, just been kicked off too conservative. Hilton Head next door groups for simply stating that Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan were previously Democrats in response to a negative post about David Pascoe. Well, it's true. They were Democrats at one time. It is okay to change. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. In addition to simply stating Alan Wilson refused to release public information in the CVR, that's true. Alan Wilson did. He refused to release the CVR, the cast vote records. She says those were her criminal comments. I understand. Skip out there chiming in says it only becomes a problem when you have leaders like we have become toxic, actually convince themselves they're running a private club versus open to the public. Helga, so good to hear from you, Helga. She says, when Henley reports on the straw poll responses, he has no problem being condescending to people who answer different than he believes, therefore putting all those that answer differently back in place. Wow. There you go. Those are the voters. The Republican Party in Beaufort County is being destroyed. Truly, simply being destroyed. I've watched this ever since 2020, I guess it is. It's being destroyed not by Democrats, but by ourselves. I have heard Jodan Lee say many times, and it's always stuck with me. She says, quote, we should not be fighting. We need to be together. On face value, totally understand that. You can disagree without fighting. But when she says we should not be fighting, we need to be together, then why, Jodan, do you say things like you have against a sitting councilman? That's right. You said against a sitting councilman in the parking lot of the Hilton Head Library. You said well, I don't want to rehash that, but you said you were going to do whatever you needed to do or had to do to make sure he was not reelected. You also said at a GOP meeting in Bluffton quite a few years ago, it's still in the video, you indicated where Donald Trump would get your support only if he were to be elected, as if that was a hypothetical. Nancy, I can't remember her last name, was interviewing you, and you indicated that you would support Donald Trump if he got to be the nominee, as if that wasn't going to happen. And then why did you say on the Zoom call, the other night that you can't believe 11 of you did not vote with us? How is that bringing the party together? You are laying the division and then saying everyone else is. That is exactly what national Republicans say that Democrats do. And they do that. So do you. So are you. When people talk about the 1st Congressional District, when they talk about the 1st Congressional District being purple, this is one reason. This is one reason why. This right here, what we just talked about. Who else has been kicked out? Who else that maybe doesn't have a strong voice, and that's okay? Who else has been kicked out that decided, I'm just going to go away? I'm not going to fight it. I don't need that in my life, which I understand. But I want to hear, have you been kicked out of the Republican Party? Or have you been kicked out of the Democrat Party? Maybe there's a whole shitload of you out there that I don't know about. I don't know of any other than 2. I know of 2 in the Republican Party. Are there more? I know there are others that they have tried to kick out, and it hasn't worked quite that way yet. Anyway, this story is not over. I hope it is. I'd like to hear that, hey, we're going to make amends. This is going to be better. I don't see that happening. What I do see happening is the voters saying, or I'm going to ask the voters, when will you decide that you have had enough?
Let's go!
The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, since we were last on the biggest news nationally, since we were on last, hey, we us and Israel began a surgical to decapitate the IRGC of Iran. I think today is like day 6 or something like that. Iran almost immediately started sending, I will call them kabooms, so YouTube doesn't, demonetize me or whatever. They started sending these kabooms all over the other Arab Gulf countries where the USA has military bases and outposts or whatever. Some hit, some missed, some were taken out. Those that missed, some hit citizens of these countries. Saudi Arabia has had what I'm going to call a belly full of this and is about to enter the battle because they've had enough. They consider the Shia to be scum, and I'm sure it's vice versa to the Sunni, but they're tired of this shit. As of late, Iran literally dropped kabooms on Azerbaijan, parts of Iraq, Azerbaijani, Kurdistan, and Iraq. I expect to see repercussions from them and especially the Iraqi Kurdish forces. I know Azerbaijan, if you're not familiar with that country, they have some doctrine that says they will not attack even if they are attacked. I think that may be put to the shelf. If you're looking for sites to visit, and I invite you to spread your wings. That's right, Helga. We don't quit. We just shift. Love that. If you're looking for sites to visit, especially on YouTube, you can catch up on the recent action where mass media is absent. Go to youtube.com and write down these places. These are a couple that I go to that I trust, that I've vetted, and they're interesting. They're not boring. And it's not hyperbole and all the hype and stuff. Anyway, one is Tusi. That's Tousi TV. Tusi TV. His name is Mayahar Tusi from England. He is originally Iranian, but I guess he was brought up in England and he lives there now. And then he does a fantastic job. Fantastic job. Agenda Free TV. Steve Lookner, who is as goofy as a bag of hammers. He comes out of Boston. Another great show. Very well run. He won't show videos unless he's got permission. I mean, he's doing everything the right way. Very top-notch guy, runs a tight ship, but it's not spun, okay? They both deliver honest programming, not beholden to private interests. I also recommend, if you want a really cool intelligence channel, some of the, OCENT type stuff, check out War Watch Intel on YouTube. There you can listen to live emergency action messages from across the globe on several frequencies. And that's the U.S. military mainly, but other military as well. You'll be able to pick them up on different megahertz scale. Flight radar, several flight radar, like Flight Radar 24 and ADS-B Exchange are on there. It's a really good site. War Watch Intel, top notch, and I think they all do a rock.
Let's go!
The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. I am going to play Low Country Lines as we go out of here. We were going to be back next week for more great programming. The stuff with Mike Tunner being, given the boot there in the Beaufort County Republican Party is just horrific. I do appreciate Mike Tunner taking some time to talk with me today, share some documents. I also appreciate Kevin Henley for taking time and doing the same. We're going to be back next Thursday, 7 o'clock, YouTube, Facebook, and BigPatriotRadio.com, where we were tonight, simulcasting live. We're going to have candidate for Attorney General David Pasco. He's going to be on next week. Looking forward to talking with him. We've also got James Seidel of Crime and Cask News. He's going to be coming back in. He has completed a complete reenactment of the Murdaugh scene, and they've got proof, he says. I've looked at it. I got to say, This is a good conversation. He's got proof that Alec Murdoch did not do it, at least not alone. Please don't forget to like and share this stream and click the notification bells. Do it now. Click on this QR code. Buy me a cup of coffee. We're going to see you next week on YouTube, Facebook, and BigPatriotRadio.com. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, as always, watch your six. Good night.
Got sand on boots from Sullivan Shore. Says she ain't leaving, want a little more. Every mile marker down Highway 17 feels like a memory wrapped in gasoline. We're living on the low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that shine like a harvest moon, singing every word out of tune. From the pine woods to the ocean side, we run these roads like a rising tide. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right. Just a little faith and a Friday night. Cypress knees and Carolina rain, football lights and a freight train. From Columbia down to Milford town, you can feel that heartbeat in the ground. Raise it up for the old home state, for the ones we love and the ones we wait for. Every backward memory made in the life where the good Lord stay. We're living on low country lines, whiskey burning, sweet tea wine. Girls that love like a hurricane, but kiss you soft like summer rain. From the deer wheels to the attic blue, there ain't no place like me and you. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right. Just South Carolina and the side of it. Thank you.